but. Hello, hi, everybody. There we go, I guess. Hi, Rip family. It's been a minute. How have y'all been? I know y'all don't miss me. Y'all good? Y'all good over here? I ain't been neglecting y'all. Okay. So I wanted to do 3 sets of dice today, but we're ending up with 4. I wanted the third set to be the gray set. I know, I never really liked the gray set before. But the orange set came out, but the orange set has quite a bit of gray in it. You can see that. And let's see, is this the gray set? It's not. It's the blue set. But this blue set also, it's like cobalt, has some gray in it. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. You can see it a little bit. It got some gray in it too. So I didn't get the full gray set, but I got a blue set with some gray and an orange set with some gray. And then I have the chaos set, I guess. And then the light set as well. And I'm just gonna roll these up and we're just gonna go and see what comes out. I was gonna use these, I wanted to use these today, but then on the other channel, I guess I forgot that I wanted to use them. And I haven't been over here in a minute. So I was like, maybe I'll come over here. I don't know. I feel like more and more, I feel how disconnected I am from the collective. Because people are like, oh, the energy is so weird today. I'm like, oops, I've been having a good day. Don't nothing feel weird to me. But I mean, I guess I got an emailed rejection from the one job that I thought was for me. But honestly, I'm like, it isn't really. And like, I could have made it work. And honestly, like, the job was more of a proxy to like the best parts of it was that it was remote and that I could do it from home first and foremost. The pay, secondly, but third, it was the proxy to the field that I actually sort of want to be in, rather than just like going into the field, right? And so it's like I could just go into the field. I don't have to do this weird proxy thing. And but when I first thought of it, I was like, well, that's kind of sort of what I did at my old job. It was by proxy that I ended up making a whole bunch of other connections, right? Also, though, after that, because I wasn't disappointed or upset, I'm just like, what do I actually want? Right? Like, if spirit is in here or out here fulfilling orders, it's about time for me to place mine. Like, when it comes to relationships, I'm knowing what I want more of. Um, when it comes to like finances, I know what I want. But when it comes to like the job or the work that I do, it's less defined. And it's not a bad time to be a little picky. Oh, I see 17, which is the star. I see 15, which is the devil. I see 8, which is who, the hermit. And number 1, which is the magician. Am I going to mix these all together? I want to, but I'm going to mix these all together. Goodness. Oh, gosh. And then we'll see. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, Temperance done switch sides. I guess I'll put these here. I'll put these here. Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different piles. What's interesting is that there is one pile that's all white dice. I'll take a picture of it and I'll post it as the thumbnail when I'm done. Also, I'll show you so you can see it. I might have to crop this. Okay. It didn't rotate, but that's fine. I can always rotate it. See that set right there? It's all white. The other ones came out pretty mixed. So that's interesting. I'm gonna keep my eye on that one. I'm also gonna use my cheat sheet. I'm gonna do these in the order they came out. They almost look like little constellations. I got some Pisces underwear from Me Undies today, or they arrived today. Hey Mimi, how are you doing today? And they're pretty cute. I'm excited. They feel so good. They feel so good. This is the nicest pair of underwear I own, and I can tell like immediately. No, that's interesting. I just pulled up to I don't know why it's here, but to the page. You're good. I'm glad to hear it. I mean, it's a Pisces print. I was like, I gotta buy them because it's already Aries season. So before it was a little bit of pressure. I was like, I gotta buy. I don't know when the print is gonna come back, and I don't want to wait a whole year. But I'm doing pretty good as well. Thank you for asking. I finally caught up with one of my good friends. Um, a little bit. Oh, whew, no. I was like, why is it still yellow? Okay, so let's get into this. So in the first pot, oh, this will be interesting though because those will be ties. So the D10, it's like 0 through 99. So I'll have to bridge over to the other set. Um, but that's fine. So in this first one, there's a 565, 2, and 7. So this is Taurus and Libra with the Two of Souls. What's interesting is like this Two of Souls is bleeding over into that all white pile. And it's 1, 2, and 2. So Taurus and Libra, they're Venusian. Taurus and Libra are both Venusian. And then there's this Two of Souls energy. So that's easy. It's the masculine and the feminine aspect of soul, right? There's the creative, nurturing side, and then there's the pioneering, intellectual side. Now, that side is connected to the high priestess, the element of earth, and Aries, which we're in now. Venus is also in Aries right now. This is interesting. There's a little bit of an axial alignment here. It's almost giving me the energy of an arrow between. It's like the high priestess is sitting right in the middle of the 60 and the 5 and 65. And on the other sides of the high priestess, it's Earth and Aries. I don't want to do this anymore. But I will. What is this? Okay. So on one side is Taurus and Libra. Taurus and Libra are both aesthetic energies, but it feels like Taurus's aesthetic is more, um it's more tactile. It's more tangible. Libra's aesthetic is more the appearance. Taurus's aesthetic is the feel. Also, Taurus is coming out with the bluer set, whereas Libra is coming out with the oranger set. So that's more sacral for Libra. But then all of this white is here as well. The Two of Souls is like the beginning of consciousness because it's like when it's one, It's the one, it's the all. It's the beginning of an individualized consciousness. Well, I guess three would technically be the beginning. So it's the precursor to an individualized consciousness. It's between the one and the young, the baby, the child. It's between the all and the child. With Earth and Aries, that's coming in as very spring, but it's a very like it's very volatile. It's volcanic, but it's still the energy of spring. And I guess spring is it's an energy of something awaking from its slumber. Now, what I do like about Venus and Taurus is that our Venus or Taurus and Libra is that it feels like there's an alignment between like the form of something and the function. Right? Libra would be more of the form, Taurus would be more of the function. And so it's like not only does it look exquisite, I like these underwear. Oh my gosh, I'm just playing. But it's like not only does it look aesthetically very pleasing, it also feels nice. There are some things that look aesthetically really good, but on the skin they don't feel that great. It reminds me of Freckle, and when they're like, she's like, those are expensive Japanese linens, and then the dude is like, but they're not even soft. And then she's like, sometimes things that are more expensive are worse. But this is something that's more expensive that's also better. And then maybe with Earth and Aries is it's an energy of setting a new precedent. With the high priestess here, because it feels like, and maybe in part the high priestess was trying to tell us that we're worth more than what we're going for. And maybe we believed it, but we hadn't yet experienced it. But when we begin to experience with that Taurus and that Libra Venusian energy sitting here, it's like, oh, well, I'm not going for anything less. Like, I know, like, not only do I know I'm worthy and capable of this now, I also know that I am, like, able to receive it depending on the X, Y, and Z. So, like, it's over for all that old energy. Like, I'm going after what I want. Then that brings us down here to 1, 1, 14, and 5. Now the 14 was originally a part of the 935, but it jumped ship. So that's a double root chakra with the Hierophant. I love that that's the double root with the Hierophant, because between this like Venus and Aries and like Mars energy here, also, Aries and Libra oppose, but with them both appearing, with like the root chakra appearing twice in the same set of dice, it feels like they're getting on the same page. Also, the energy of Temperance is here, Temperance and the Hierophant. So it's perfect. It's like feminine and masculine energy are finding a space where they can meet. I also see the three. So the solar plexus chakra is also here in both of these. And it's an energy of like an aligned goal. That moving into Sagittarius with the throat and 33. 33 is the scholar of essences. So here's Temperance bridging this to the throat in Sagittarius. The throat in Sagittarius is an interesting energy, especially with all of this in the root, because the throat in Sagittarius can be regurgitation. Sagittarius is higher education and higher learning and higher like knowing. But a lot of times higher education just involves you basically learning what other people said. And so with Sagittarius and the throat chakra, it's like there's no original thought here. But then that temperance is bridging us into the scholar of essences. But again, going back to the lack of original thought, it's an energy of us trying to find ourselves through someone else's work. But it's like there is some resonance there, though, so it makes sense. But then we also have the magician, the third eye, the sacral, and the element of fire that is coming after that. The sacral and the third eye both involve an element of fire through light. The third eye is light, sacral is fire. It can't be. I think the solar plexus can also be fire. I guess the sacral would be like an earthy water, earth water, but it's feeling like fire today because it's the seat of creation. It's the house of the Kundalini, right? But the magician is also here. So Sagittarius is fire. The throat is air. The element of fire is here. Scholar of water. I don't know if the element of earth is too much present, which is interesting. But then that takes me back to Sagittarian regurgitation, right? Because it's almost like if you would have put any of this into practice, you would notice that it doesn't actually work in real life. Like theoretically, it's sound. It's a sound hypothesis, but in real life, it just doesn't play out that way, or it doesn't play out frequently enough to give it a strong sort of conclusion. And with the scholar of souls here, or the scholar of essences, it's like we're still in a position of learning ourselves and also like it's like we're still learning but we're also applying in some ways. And so maybe some of this we attribute to a lack of experience. It may be that, but it may also be it's like it doesn't work. It's the energy of like when people manipulate data to make their hypothesis seem more sound and reasonable to pass it through whatever peer review. But in science, it's like things also need to be replicable, right? Like someone else should take how you wrote everything else. Someone else should be able to take how you write up the procedure, perform the exact same steps, and get the exact same result. And then that moves up to 90. Oh, this is split. Okay, so both of these outside are like linked to each other, which is nice. So we have 3, 8, 2, hold up, 2, 2, 3, 0, 0, 3, 8, 6, and 90. So who is this up here? Oh, it's 333. 333 on the clock. Look at this. Okay. 90 is the sun. 6 is the levas. 3 is the solar plexus. 3 is also air. 2 is earth and the sacral again. 8 is the double crown. So we had down here the sacral and the third eye. Up here we have the sacral and the double crown. And the double crown carries an energy that's a lot like the third eye, but It's different. The double crown is like transmitting through the crown chakra rather than receiving through the crown chakra. And so the sun is here with the lovers. The sun being here with the lovers, it's an energy of us seeing our choices and decisions play out in real time. Now, with this sacral solar plexus energy, as opposed to that double crown, also we have the elements of earth and air. I feel like it's misaligned somehow, but also there is like in the beginning, there's a realignment coming in. But it gets like when you get to the eight, when you get to the second functioning of the crown, I guess things get like really subtle and very tricky and very almost difficult to navigate because you have to balance like the very real reality with like what you wish to see in some ways, right? Because Earth, it's a mutable element in that however you nurture it, you'll get a like result. But so it's like it grows one way, but you can always sort of change the environment and have it grow a different way, right? Like if your plant is leaning to the left heavy because they grow in the direction of sunlight, then you can turn the pot so now it starts to lean to the right and it'll sort of balance itself out. And that's the kind of sort of energy here of like making adjustments and movements and changing in order to get things to balance out. That's why Sagittarian regurgitation isn't helpful here because it's like it'll keep the plant leaning in the same direction. It's time to move in a new way. Also, I think that's why it's just like hierophant in the root chakra energy on the masculine and the feminine side. And also, it's that temperance. It's the hierophant, which is the commitment, and it's temperance, which is the practice. Temperance is the day to day compromises, choices, and decisions to keep a relationship healthy with that hierophant energy. And it's in the root. And so again, it's like it goes very deep. It goes deeper than any sort of like childhood trauma or anything like that. And without access to that level of depth, it's like we kind of sort of try to substitute for whatever the Sagittarian energy is, right? And this the scholar of essences again, it's like it's an energy that is somewhat learned, but it still has more to learn. Scholars kind of sort of for me sit in the energy of like internships, right? So they're applying knowledge, but they're also gaining knowledge as they're applying knowledge. And so there's still more to learn. Now, in this blue set, there is Taurus. There's a lot of twos in the blue set. It's Taurus, it's Earth, it's the sacral, the scholar of souls, the throat, and temperance. So it feels like in this blue set, it can be really rooted and really established in the experiences that it's had, which here can be a problem because it's like when you're that rooted, when you're that established in everything that you've already experienced, it's hard to call in anything different. And with this double chakra, with the double crown, with the eight, it's very much a calling in type of energy. But it's calling in more than what you say. It's like it's more than the throat and the third eye. It's very, very, very subtle. It's what you believe. It's not the manifestations. Been seeing 222 a lot. I've been seeing 222 lately, especially on PlayStation, as I've been playing more PlayStation. Um, but it's like because it's beyond manifestations and it's beyond um, what you're able to see with the throat and the third eye. It's what you believe. Now, in the orange set, there's six, three, eight, four, and five. Also seven. So the orange set is coming out with the lovers, Libra, the solar plexus, the double crown, fire, and the hierophant. What's most interesting, I guess there's some alignment between Libra and the lovers if it's Gemini. But it does feel like it's a Libran energy that's out of its element. And so it feels a little bit like trying to bring balance to situations in ways that are like overly compromising. And in the context of this, it's like, we're trying to manifest or create and build our lives at a fraction of the capacity that we could have because of what we choose to believe. But here, almost, since it's the lovers, the solar plexus, and the double crown, it's more about our actions in this specific case here. And it's about our actions being more telling of our beliefs than our words. Actions speak louder than words, right? You can't say one thing. It's like your actions will show the limitation of your belief, right? It's like if you believe you're safe, but you go out and you buy a gun. It's like, why would you need a gun if you believe you're safe? And you're like, oh, well, just in case something does happen, I'm prepared. So it's like, okay, so you don't fully believe that you're safe. Because if you were, you wouldn't need this. It's one example. Actions speak louder than words. And with the double crown, it's like your actions that are, it's like if you want to know why something is or isn't working, look at your actions. I think a lot of times, especially when we get so spiritual, we can be like, oh, but I'm manifesting this and I'm praying for this and I'm doing that. But it's like, okay, but look at your actions because again, your action speaks to your belief more than anything else will. And the purple set, there is 93, 1, 2, 6. Hey, there's a 369, another 9. So it's 1, 6, 3, 90, 9, and 2. That's the magician, it's the sun, the element of air, the third eye, the sacral, and Sagittarius. Again, I feel like the sun energy here is just like it's you like you physically see it. Maybe not physically, but like you can see it. Especially with the third eye. The third eye in the sun, it's an energy of a projector. Sagittarius in air, it's giving thoughts. Sacral in the magician, it's like empty promises is this energy. It's all air. Like there's no other substance to it. But with the magician, it requires all elements. And so with this sun, it's like maybe you'll see how empty it is in some ways. or you're seeing how empty some of it is. Because again, with that regurgitating Sagittarian energy, it's like theoretically it makes sense, but realistically, it's like it bears no fruit or it bears little fruit. With the white set, it's 111, 22, and 65. So that is Aries, the root, the two of souls, the high priestess, and the element of earth. I feel like that's high priestess energy. It's like somehow it's being illuminated to you that your core beliefs, not only your core beliefs, but how you act and interact with the world because of those core beliefs, with both the feminine and the masculine side of the root chakra, that it's like it's trying to be worked on, or it's. I had it and then I lost it. It feels like the high priestess is like trying to show you, not only trying to show you how that doesn't work, but it's trying to get you to do something different. That's the element of earth and Aries. Because earth, I know I said it's mutable, but it's fixed. It can be mutable depending on how you treat it, but it's fixed in nature, right? It's fixed in that it will always sort of respond. The earth isn't typically going to give you something that isn't warranted, right? For most earth happenings, there's a cause. And so that's the fixed nature. It's mutable in its ability to respond to how you nurture it and how you give to it. Like most things, right? But fire is pretty much always fire, at least in this regard. And so it's like High Priestess is trying to get you to do something new and to break out of your shell with that earth, which is also volcanic, but volcanic activity, although it's destructive at the time, it's very nurturing afterwards, right? Like when the soot settles, because volcanoes are like they're nutrient rich. All the like the magma and stuff, it's nutrient rich. And so when the ash settles and when the magma breaks apart over time, it like mega fertilizes the soil. Also, it can give rise to new land after a period of time too. But in the moment, it's destructive. I feel like the destruction in the moment is these core patterns, habits, and beliefs. But it's giving you the opportunity to become more of yourself less abashedly. But everything else, because like that's where we started, right? But everything else is fixed. Everything else is stagnant. Everything else is like already pre-existing, which is maybe why this energy isn't really playing with a lot of other stuff. Like 4 out of 6 of them, or 4 out of 7 of them, all came out together, and the high priestess was in that. So yeah, and it feels like old hierophant energy has hijacked that double crown, and it's coming through as Sagittarius. Sagittarius being like, religious and spiritual systems and things of that nature. That's that, I guess. Didn't expect that, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, it's not bad. It's like a call to do more. And I guess that call to do more we'll find in every aspect. Don't be. defined by your past, are held down by what was previously thought to be possible. Especially, and it's like, if anything, that old Hierophant was saying, like, if there was any credibility in that, it's because the Hierophant controlled the game. But the Hierophant doesn't control, like, real life. And we're coming to a more natural sort of state, because there's a lot of faith being lost in old Hierophant systems. There's a lot of energy being pulled out of old Hierophants. And so their capability and capacity to run the world as they were is going to be decreasing. They held a lot of people's power. Some people are taking the power out of one Hierophant and putting it into another, and that's their choice. Not every Hierophant is going to take advantage of you. But I think that was also a message here, is like, to maybe be conscious of where you're putting your power, who you're giving it to, and in what amounts. So I guess that's what I got here. Oh, snap. There's a 6, 4, 17, 3, 116, 7, 1, 80, 12, 2, 92, 3, 988, 5, 0, 1, 5, 8, 2, 4, 1 numbers. Yeah, that's why. I don't know. I don't know. It's been a little bit of a weird experience lately. Not really, because I've been enjoying my experience, but I have felt like I'm very disconnected from a lot of people. Which, honestly, looking at the energy that a lot of people are going through, I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm perfectly fine to be where I am, honestly. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think Russell just talked about that number too. Um, but he said it's about like animal cruelty, and how Elon Musk put a chip in a monkey brain to get the monkey to play ping pong or something like that. I was like, what? Yeah, people have been like, "Ooh, girl, my emotions are so high," or like this is happening or that's happening. I'm like, "Oh well, I'm good. I've been over here just learning, growing day by day. Just doing my little work." And it's not that there haven't been like emotional moments and times, but I don't know. It ain't been like consuming. And then everything just slowly but surely changing. Changing. Time for a change. I don't know that song. Oh, this is a 9. 69 and 6. Or maybe it was on 6 earlier. Who knows? Alright, what's going on, Pirate Family? I don't know. What can I do? Let's look at astrology, I guess, right? Where's my phone? Or let's not. Everything is in Aries. So let's see. Changing. So right now, Mercury, the Sun, and Venus are in Aries. The Moon and Uranus are in Taurus. The North Node and Mars are in Gemini. Pluto is still in Capricorn. Saturn and Jupiter are in Aquarius. Jupiter look like it's getting real close to Pisces. Jupiter is like 25 degrees Aquarius. And Neptune is in Pisces. Let me see, when does Jupiter slide into Pisces? Wow, 4 weeks and 3 days until Jupiter enters Pisces. Okay. I can use some Jupiter coming from my sun. Shoot, come on, opportunity, bring it. I'm ready. Jupiter and Neptune are both gonna be in Pisces. Oh wow, there's an 11, 11, 11 in Pisces right now. Lilith, Pallas, and the Descendant are in Pisces. Look at it. Y'all see that? 11, 11, 11 in Pisces. What? That's interesting though, because I feel like between Lilith and Pisces, I feel like that's gonna make things really difficult. And they're conjunct. Like Lilith is 11 degrees in 10 minutes. Pallas is 11 degrees in 14 minutes. Like they're 4 minutes apart. But it feels like Lilith and Pallas, it's a very strategic shadow. Very strategic. And it feels like it'll work on, like, it'll recruit any shadow within you to, like, get you to sort of, like, fight yourself, basically. And then with Neptune there, depending on your own alignments, either it could amplify that shadow or it could do something else. What's interesting, and I guess there's a lot of people that I don't currently watch that I used to watch. So maybe somebody is saying it. But it's interesting to me that people weren't talking about Saturn and Aquarius as like humanity and the global collective being sort of suppressed. Because usually you hear about Saturn and people are like talking, oh, like that's restrictions, that's suppression, and stuff like that. Aquarius is the sign of collective humanity and technology. And with Saturn there, but people have been like, oh, it's the age of Aquarius. And all of a sudden now it's positive, which I'm not like, which I'm not knocking, but I just think it's interesting that we didn't hold that same perspective when, Saturn was in Capricorn. Pluto is still in Capricorn. So that sextile with Neptune is broken. Is it squaring Venus? The square between Venus is breaking, but the sun is going to be coming in to square Pluto here pretty soon. Um, what's interesting though with Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, just like when they were both in Capricorn, is I feel like Saturn and Jupiter in the same sign is a bit of a push and pull. So it's like maybe you'll be limited in some ways, but you'll be given opportunities in other ways. I think it's actually pretty nice though, because it has the capability to like guide you in the right direction. Like whatever, or at least guide you in the direction that you're aligning to. Whatever isn't truly aligned is sort of going to be restricted in what is. Actually, I take that back. And I take it back because of Neptune and Pisces with also Lilith and Pallas. Use your discernment between what happens easily and what doesn't happen quite so easily, because it may be for us to actually build foundations, especially with Pluto still in Capricorn. And so you could be slowed down just to build a more solid foundation. Also, the nodes are at 11 degrees right now. And so Lilith and Pallas are directly squaring the South Node in Sagittarius, North Node in Gemini. So yeah, that Pallas Lilith exact square it feels like it can be either really shadowy or not so much. Maybe. Let's see what else was there. Mars and Gemini separating from the North Node. So now Mars is going to be traveling from the North Node to the South Node. So I guess this will be a point in time in which we'll see whether or not we are putting energy into progressing ourselves forward or putting energy into sort of repeating the same habits and patterns. Almost time for Taurus Scorpio. I'm excited for that one. Uranus is still in Taurus, still shaking things up there. The moon is in Taurus. So it's going to be conjuncting Uranus soon, but that's not going to last too long. Venus in Aries, Sun in Aries, Mercury in Aries. I feel like that's a desire for a lot of new stuff. But what's going to be the most interesting is Pluto and Capricorn. Because I feel like Pluto and Capricorn, like right before these signs leave Aries, it's going to ask if you have the foundation for it. It's like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do whatever. And it's like, Pluto's like, okay, well, do you have the papers? Do you have the financing? Do you have the funding? Is this something that you can actually do? And Mars was on that North Node. Mars has been in Gemini for a minute now. And so for like what, 5 weeks and 5 days, Mars has been in Gemini since March 3rd. Mars has been in Gemini, and it's going to be in Gemini until April 23rd. Hey, that's my cousin's birthday. And it's like in that time, it's like that's where all of the drive sort of has been, but have we been doing it? Because I feel like that'll help us get over the hump with Pluto. But yeah, but with Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in Aries, it feels like a lot of people will be wanting a lot of new, but I mean, you got to do more than just want it. And Mars has been in Gemini. I would say Mars in Gemini is the one that can be like confused, or the one who can act in ways that maybe don't actually serve what it wants to do, rather than Mars in Pisces. I feel like Mars in Gemini, though, is also beginning to become aware of consequences. So I don't know. I don't know. That's what I got. It's an interesting time for sure. There's a lot of new things that are possible, but also at the same time, it's like we didn't go through everything that we went through in order to turn around and do the same things all over again, right? To repeat the same mistakes or to not fix what has been revealed to be broken. Like, that's not why any of that happened. And if it fell once, it'll fall again. So that's why you always hear that saying when Mars is on the cusp of Gemini. I have never heard that saying. But also, I don't follow too much astrology, so I'm not surprised. I don't know. Astrology used to be it. Excuse me. Astrology used to be it until I heard like so many people talking about like, oh, with this astrology, just roll over and take it. Just roll over and take it. Don't do anything. And then the planet would transit into the next sign, and it would literally be like more of the same. It was with Mars. When Mars was in Pisces, people were like, oh, don't do anything. Mars in Pisces, it's like under the illusions of Neptune and blah, blah, blah. When Mars goes into Aries, like everyone's gonna be angry and everyone's gonna be fighting, and so like don't do anything, keep calm. And it's like, okay, well, when are we supposed to do something? I don't know. I don't know. Like astrology is interesting, but I don't live my life governed by it. But that's me. That's what I choose. You heard it in a movie, a song and something else. Mm. Maybe it holds some significance. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Maybe it holds some significance for you. You're more into the Mayan galactic calendar. I honestly like that's a calendar that you say that I line up with a lot, but and I do like I see the yellow warrior in me, and I see the white world bridger and Russ, but I don't know. It feels like we're in a really mutable space, which some calendars might account for. Not gonna say that they don't, but I don't know. I'm more interested in creating new than carrying on old. It's like, if it were like amazing or great or spectacular, it'd still be here. So I want something that's, I don't know. But then, who knows? Maybe, I don't know. To each their own. That's how I'll leave it. To each their own. So that's what I got. Thank you, baby. Excuse me. For being here. This isn't necessarily where I expected it to go, but I'm also not surprised that I feel like at least every time I pull some cards, more often than not, it's like, be careful of what you believe, be mindful of what you're giving your power to. Now is the time more than any to really take back your power and to really put your energy into creating and manifesting a future that you want, and to stop making shadows more powerful, basically, by however capable you choose to view them. And it's very subtle. It's very precarious, I guess, maybe, but I don't know. You're adding to what the galactic signature is. Excuse me. You can see stuff but can't quite explain it to people. You'll lose someone trying to break it down, but you see it. Yeah, I think that's one of the pitfalls of Sagittarian energy too. Is that, like, I feel like Sagittarian energy can be a little bit of like preaching to the choir, because once you develop a vocabulary as specific to your field, it's like you almost begin to lose your ability to talk with like the layperson. And so it's good for like furthering information, I guess. But if everyone that you talk to sort of already knows, then I don't know. Yeah, that might be that North Node in Gemini, though. Learning how to break it down. My North Node is in Sagittarius, though, so it's also been. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that I'm like floating outside of the collective right now, because it's a anti-node year for me. I'm like, yeah, I'm not. Like, where y'all going? I came from there, so I'm good. All right, well, I'll chat with you later. Excuse me, I'm gonna find something to eat. I've been really wanting some cereal lately, so I'm gonna eat a bowl of Oreo O's and find something to watch, and then I think I'll do some more meditation and mindfulness on what I actually want out of life, and I'm gonna start moving on it, because it's that season, right? I can utilize some of this Aries energy before it's all gone. Watch me wait until Taurus to try to actually do something. I'm just playing. Bye.